let me say how pleased I am to host the first Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister of the Republic of Serbia and his delegation to Ghana. This visit follows earlier visits from high-ranking members of government. My good self visited Serbia last year, and so did the Minister for Communications. But even before our visits, the Speaker of Parliament and the delegation also visited Serbia. All three visits from our side ended up very successfully, opening up the communication lines, because if you will recall, not too long ago, probably a few years ago, the relations between our two countries got severed due to the issue of Kosovo. We felt that going into the historic records of the relations that existed between our two countries, between our first president, President Nkrumah, and the president of then Yugoslavia, President Tito, and the work they did together in the formation of the non-aligned movement at a time when the world was in turmoil due to the Cold War. They stood on the basis of neutrality, got a good number of countries together to work towards peace and security in the world. We felt that because of this, there was the need for us to re-establish relations with Serbia. Today, we are happy that they have visited, but before this visit, the Minister for Sports of Serbia visited Ghana. He had very, very rich discussions with his counterparts, and today the Foreign Minister and First Deputy Minister is here. We have looked at several ways that we need to cooperate. Apart from the fact that we have already, on my visit, signed the political consultations agreement, we also believe that there is the need to quickly assemble our technical teams to look at the way we're going to cooperate. And this would be the framework under which we would cooperate. There are several areas of cooperation that we are already talking about, in the area of ICT, in the area of agro-processing, in the agric sector generally, in the area of mining, in sports. So these are already areas that we have identified, but we would have our people sit down and come up with a framework so that quickly we can have our first PJCC and also exchange of business delegations to look at the ways in which we can quickly form partnerships in order to get business going between our two countries. I have made it clear to our visiting delegation, especially to my colleague, that Ghana, under the presidency of His Excellency Akufo-Addo, is moving away from aid to trade. And so that is the focus. And there's several areas for them to invest in. The area of our One District, One Factory, which is under the agro-processing that we've discussed. They're very much interested in the cocoa industry, the sector, how they will be able to buy directly from us cocoa beans, because they process a lot of chocolates in Serbia. We are very much engaged, and we're happy to have them here. But before I conclude, I must put on record our appreciation of scholarships that Ghana has enjoyed under or between the two countries from Serbia. And as we speak, we have 13 students in Serbia, various parts of the country, undergoing their education, training in some key, very much needed sectors that will help us in our development. Also, not too long ago, in February this year, 8 judges visited Serbia on scholarship to train in ICT. And I believe these are all areas of cooperation that we are very happy with. And also to help us in ensuring that the cooperation is strong, they have agreed, or decided rather, to open an embassy here in Accra. And we are also in the process of reopening our embassy in Belgrade, which we had to shut down at some point. So I believe that this is a good time in the life and relations of our two countries. Thank you. A decision that has already been taken on their side and even on our side. So it's just a matter of time. We believe that the PJCC that we're going to start with the technical teams from both sides meeting. Once we are able to determine the areas, it will enhance the need for us to expedite action on the opening of the two missions. So we see that happening very soon, because we are on both sides. We are very much in a hurry to start the PJCC. So that will soon follow, hopefully by the opening of the missions. And then in the area of rubber production, that's an area that is potential for us. However, we are not able to get our act together on it for several reasons. And if on their side, is that correct that you have expertise in the rubber industry? Yes. It's one area for us to cooperate in, because we believe that the time has come not to reinvent the wheel. If you have friends who have expertise in an area, the friendship and the cooperation that we are talking about will give us the framework for us to take advantage of this, learn from them how they've been able to do it, so we can apply it and leapfrog, rather than go slowly going through the failures and successes of getting to a certain point where rubber will also be one of our major exports. One of the policies of this government is to discourage, or to stop finally, the export of raw materials from this country, but rather to add value here in Ghana. And this is one of the areas that we have talked about. So it's not to export raw cocoa beans from Ghana to Serbia, but for a Serbian company to establish here and add value, convert the beans into either cake or paste or butter, in order for it to be exported to Serbia. So yes, we have discussed it. It's part of the discussion. And once our business delegations go to Serbia, and their delegation comes here, these are the areas that we'll be looking at. That's why I said agro-processing. And yesterday, the delegation, the Prime Minister met with the Minister for Tourism, Creative Arts and Culture, and he has invited her to Serbia to look at those areas. And I believe that very soon that visit will take place, and then their minister will also visit. Indeed, they have a rich culture. We have very rich culture that we can do exchanges in terms of the cooperation in the area of culture. So it's very much on the books.